Hello, week 9. Let's do this thing. All right. Should the focus of preaching be centered around national holidays and cultural observances? Why or why not? Boy, that's a big one. I think my answer when I was younger would have been probably yes. I think throughout college, it probably would have been a harder no. I've been since college and now in seminary, I've started to really enjoy the church Christian calendar and all the different holidays, some of the higher liturgical stuff that we can find there, particularly because it was such a low emphasis on the church I was growing up at. And there was a much higher emphasis on our national holidays. I wouldn't say overemphasis, but it definitely played a role. And even the Presbyterian church that I'm at now, there's always a care and a mention of the holidays that surround each Sunday. And I think it does a fairly good job of recognizing all or most national holidays. Like the lecture mentioned, dropping MLK and Labor Day. Well, I don't think I've heard a Labor Day sermon ever. Like Juneteenth and MLK was mentioned this last year, which feels like a really good step forward. So to more precisely answer the question, definitely depends. I think, I think it can be a unifying thing, as here is this group that we can all or most identify with, and this is what our nation is celebrating, so we can at least acknowledge it. But I wouldn't, I don't know, I guess I wouldn't center it on the holidays and let those be more supplemental content to what's being preached, rather than really focusing on the holiday as the thing. So number 2, the opportunities I see are, again, kind of, it is national holidays are big things. It's things that anyone who's grown up in this nation can identify and understand. The problem being there's varying degrees of what people think constitutes a holiday. Valentine's Day is Hallmark and gross. It's not a real day. But then there's some people that go all out for something like Valentine's Day and see the ways of love between humans can display the love of God to humans. So I think, again, the opportunities being not having the holidays being the main focus, but something that can help kind of build up what we're already talking about in the gospel and in the Bible as a whole. So number 3, the challenges. I think the lecturer mentioned people who don't necessarily identify as with this nation as their home, or as this nation's holidays as their holidays. So the challenge, it can definitely be exclusatory. I have definitely 100% heard churches go all out for Father's Day, and then just barely do anything for Mother's Day. I know that kind of bleeds into number 5. But the big challenge is to be inclusive, especially on a day that would uplift a certain group of people, not necessarily over others, but just we're giving higher emphasis to mothers on Mother's Day. And then there's just the whole mess of super patriotic national holidays. Something like Memorial Day or Veterans Day or Independence Day could certainly trigger things in other people about conquest and colonialism and the way that America can throw its weight around with the best or the worst of intentions. What it means to someone growing up here feeling patriotic can mean something completely different to someone who's seen the other side of things. And that really, I think, goes into number 4 of the concerns. Yeah, just that we can become very exclusatory if we're not careful, and it would be very easy to co-opt the gospel into our national holiday instead of using the holiday as a supplemental thing, as I mentioned before. Yeah, I heard a lot of sermons on that felt like they started with the holiday and then searched for Bible verses that would feed into that, instead of seeing the gospel and the Bible and where that holiday kind of intersects with what God has already been doing, and was really trying to take the focus into the holiday. Yeah. So number 5, good examples I've seen when there's a specific critique on the patriotism and nationalism that can dip into American Christianity, and not, the lecture mentioned a lot of to not rail against this like amorphous the culture, but to really speak to specific things. And so those are some of the better sermons I've heard on holidays, especially national ones. Really, yeah, focusing on some good has come from these, some bad has come from these, and let's take an honest look at them and see what we think God might feel about those good and those bad. How can we do better going forward than what we've done in the past? The worst ones have done the opposite, upheld the patriotism and the nationalism that can get very steeped within American Christianity. A lot of whitewashing Jesus and using their cultural and social beliefs and putting that on Jesus instead of having Jesus form their thoughts and intentions. So yeah, I guess to end, the thing that I kind of learned in reflecting on this and in the sermons is that I kind of focused on all the concerns and of preaching on a national holiday instead of seeing some of the unifying factors and some of the ways that we can use it as a way to frame where we're at in the year and just the cyclical things of life. So yeah, a definite benefit is you know where you're at in the year, and it kind of gives a feeling to what most people are feeling around that time. So we can, yeah, use that to our advantage instead of just charging our own way of this is what I think needs to be preached, but really dipping into that communal aspect of holidays and seeing what God wants to say through that. So yeah, thanks.